All right, the creative act part 18. So he first talks about how when you create and you make art, you should just do it for the pure enjoyment of making it, not thinking in the back of your mind, like, when am I going to get out of it? So he says in this line, we create in service to art, not for what we can get from art. Success is way harder to come by when your life depends on it. So if you think in the back of your mind, like, I'm just making this to make money or become popular and get famous, it's never going to happen, because you're not going to make your purest art by doing that. You're not going to be making what you think is authentic and raw. You're going to be thinking what's going to make money, and that's never going to happen, because you're just going to try hard, you're going to overthink it, and it's just not going to be that fun. So you should just really be creating for the pure enjoyment of creating. And if your goal is just to make money, then maybe you should just be on the business side and hire someone to do it and just give them feedback or something. But I just feel like when you're creating, you should create just because you purely and genuinely enjoy doing it. Just like athletes, they're not forced to be on the basketball court, but if they enjoy playing basketball, they're going to get pretty good at it, and that might lead to money and fame, but just because of the fact that they purely enjoy it. So things kind of naturally happen from your passion. Creativity is contagious. When we spend time with other artistic people, we absorb and exchange a way of thinking, a way of looking at the world. This group can be called a sangha. That's really cool. It might be actually sangha or sangha, but either way, I definitely 100% agree with that, because there is a certain handful of people that I just continuously work with in many different ways, and it's because I trust their vision, I think they're creative, and I think they're easy to get along with, and I feel like the more I spend time with them, the more creative ideas I get, and then the creative ideas that I give them, they kind of bounce off with their own ideas to give to me. So it's very much like a cycle that we're just kind of like bouncing off each other. And so I think like energy is very important, and just the inspiration of energy is really important. So obviously you just want to be around people that will bring that energy out of you, or be in an environment that will bring that energy out of you, because you'll just naturally get inspiration from that. And obviously you'll enjoy it more. Like when it comes to basically anything, like if you enjoy who you're around, you're going to want to do it more. If I had to stick around and stand next to someone I just didn't like and had to create, I probably wouldn't enjoy it as much. So now he actually starts talking about collaborating with people. He says, competition serves the ego. Cooperation supports the highest outcome. I think when you combine two artists together, especially when they don't know each other, it can get a little tricky, because they might have different visions, they might have different tastes. Like it's like going to the ice cream store. Someone might choose chocolate, someone might choose Rocky Road, and there's no right or wrong, it's just different flavors. And so I do think like sometimes ego comes into play in competition, like who's better, who's more talented, and it's like a hidden battle. But I definitely think the more you can kind of bite your tongue or meet halfway or communicate, things do end up becoming better. And so bouncing off that, he says, an agreement. We continue the process until reaching to the point where we are all happy with the work. Go for C if one chooses A and the other chooses B. Great decisions aren't made in spirit of sacrifice. They're made by the mutual recognition of the best solution available. So he's basically saying that you don't want to just give in all the time, because you're not going to really be happy with your work, but at the same time, if you are too nitpicky, then it's not going to work either. And so you kind of have to find a middle ground where you both like what you're doing and the vision that it's becoming, but you just might have to work around it. Like you said, like you might have type A versus type B, but then you come up with C, and the C is actually just a blend of both. So now he talks about feedback. He says, when giving feedback, don't make it personal. Always comment on the work itself and not the individual who made it. When on the receiving end of feedback, our taste is to set aside ego and work to fully understand the critique offered. I've definitely experienced this myself, where in the beginning when I started creating, I would get a little bit more sensitive and offended to people like giving me feedback or criticizing my work to a certain extent. And I realized over time that you can't really improve or get other perspectives if you're not allowing perspectives to come in. And so it's nice to hear things right or wrong, because it makes you think of things differently once you work on something else. And I feel like the more feedback I kind of take in, the more my creativity expands, because I kind of see other people's worlds more. It's like, okay, like I never thought about that, and maybe I can kind of blend that into my future project. And so I just feel like if you really can set your ego aside and just be open to feedback, and I feel like when it comes to all types of art, you're not going to please everyone. And so knowing that, it is good to take feedback, because it's like, oh, okay, like that's good to know. Like I'll keep note of that. This is the best line to end with, and we already spoke about it. He says, the synergy of a group is as important, if not more important, than the talent of the individuals. That hits so hard, because when I think of like A versus B, where it's like I have 5 people that I can work with that I love. I love the energy around them. They work hard. We get along. They respect my vision. As opposed to 5 people that are super talented and skilled, but like don't respect me and they want it their way or the highway. I would much rather have this group because number one, I would just naturally enjoy it more. I would be more happy. But also, I feel like my vision would become more clear and it would actually, I would develop a project that I would actually be proud of. Here, I might have to give in a little or maybe even a lot just to please everyone. And it just wouldn't be that fun. So, like, the energy would just be, it would make me just have a bad taste about creating in general. And so, I definitely agree that the energy is way more important.